Hello and welcome to the season finale before the season finale. That is live night. That's next week, 2 weeks. We got time. I am your director, producer. For those of you keeping score, you haven't seen me since we talked about Michigan State and Iowa. Shout out to B Green. Tonight, big night. We got NBA. We got some Suco sports. We're going to keep that rolling. And then you'll see me again, make my appearance one more time for some Masters talk. We'll break that down. Stick around. We got a great show. See you after the intro.
Yeah. Welcome you. Hey. I am your big brother. Where will you be for the revolution?
So, I don't know who that was that just introduced us, but
yeah, I don't know who that guy
is. Sideliners. I'm your host, Nick Wetzel, joined by Jiggy and Chris. So we're going to talk some NBA playoffs right now. All Knick fans, we don't got to talk about that. There we go. Said it, we're done. Knicks talk.
Done. No more Knicks.
We don't got to talk about it anymore. So, NBA playoffs. What are some key first-round matchups you're going to see? Because obviously, I think we all think Golden State's going to beat the Trailblazers. So, give me some matchups where you think the underdog has a realistic shot at upsetting the favorite.
My favorite matchup right now in the first round is the battle of the two MVPs. You got James Harden and the Houston Rockets going up against Russell Westbrook and the Oklahoma City Thunder. That one series is going to determine who wins MVP. That is just going to, shut all the critics up. It's going to put basketball to the test. Who deserves it more? Triple-double or 2,000? That's what I call them. 2,000.
I like the Clippers-Jazz matchup because, in my opinion, I think the Jazz are like the Celtics of the West, where they've just built and built this great team, this playoff team, and I really think they could upset the Clippers. The Clippers have played pretty well as of late, but the Clippers have choked the past couple years. Chris Paul hasn't made it past the second round. I feel like if the Jazz beat the Clippers, they could solidify themselves as a force in the West.
Right.
I think you said it perfectly that the Clippers do choke, but they choke in the second round.
That's true.
I think they beat the Jazz, but they will lose in the second round because that's just what they do. I do agree with you. Clippers-Jazz is going to be a great series. Same with the MVP race there going on. The one I'm actually looking for a 1-8 in the East. I think the Celtics beat the Bulls, but Dwayne Wade has more postseason experience than every single player on Boston.
Sure.
And experience matters, especially when your best player is a miniature player. Isaiah Thomas, a great player. I think the Celtics win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Wade steal a game or two. So that's going to do it. We're going to go to a commercial real quick, and we'll be back to talk some more NBA talk.
Pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Which camera are we on?
Two. All right, and we are back. So, Jiggy, you mentioned Russell Westbrook in that last topic. That's what we're talking about now. Russell Westbrook breaks Oscar Robinson's record. He was tied with him for a little bit, stuck on 41, finally gets the 42nd triple-double. What do you guys think?
I predicted this. I saw greatness happen before the season started. But Westbrook, man, he proved everybody wrong. And for a record that was held by the Big O for 50 years, and for him to do it this year, this season, it's such a critical time, losing an MVP in Kevin Durant, and basically putting the entire organization on your back and saying, I got this, I got us, you know? He definitely deserves this. He deserves this award, and I'm happy, man. Triple-double, man. Mr. Triple-double himself, man. He deserves the title.
I called in the beginning of the season that Westbrook would be in the MVP conversation, but I didn't think he would explode like this.
Of course.
This is insane. I think Kevin Durant's sitting back like, I wonder if Steph Curry could do that. Makes him think a little bit. But Westbrook really showed that the Thunder wasn't the Kevin Durant show. It's the Russell Westbrook show. And
sure.
he carried them. I'm pretty sure they were like 33-9 when he had a triple-double. I mean, he's a triple-double monster. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. My gut tells me Kevin Durant isn't thinking about it too much,
He's in a good
considering they're
place.
the presumptive favorites. But we're going to send it over to Lenny, who's going to break down some Suco baseball for us.
All right, thank you, Nick. So SUNY Oneonta men's baseball team had a tough matchup this weekend when they went over to Cortland, who's number 9 ranked nationally. They had a tough loss in the first game, losing 8-3. Then they lost 5-0 and then dropped the season finale by a score of 13-1. They recently lost to RPI this past Tuesday when they headed over to Rensselaer to play them. And they just opened up Damaski Field today with a win over Mount St. Mary's in a 13-2 victory. Junior Brandon Torres had a good week, going 7 for 19 with a home run, 4 runs, and 3 RBIs. The men's baseball team are now 10-11 to start their year, and they'll be facing New Paltz in a big series to determine who will get that final spot in SUNYAC playoffs. Good luck to our men's baseball team, and we hope junior pitchers Nick Panesi, Tom Bond, and Jimmy McCarty can provide the Red Dragons with good quality pitching, and Brandon Torres and Dalton Beatty, outfielders, will keep the offense hot heading into this series.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Only you can prevent wildfires.
All right, and thank you, Lenny. So we're going to start off talking about our Defensive Player Rookie of the Year races. So what do you guys think so far? Who do you got for Defensive Player?
My defensive player is coming out of Utah, Rudy Gobert, 7-foot Frenchman. Averaging 14 points, 12 rebounds, 2.6 blocks a game. Definitely a big improvement. When he first got drafted, he solidified his position with Utah, and he definitely deserves it. So I see him possibly picking up DOP.
I'm going the two-time reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Kawhi Leonard. I know he's in there for the MVP race, but I don't think he's going to get it. I think he's going to get Defensive Player of the Year. He's a force on defense.
Right.
I actually have a different pick from both of you guys. I'm going Draymond. He's been runner-up to Kawhi the past 2 years. I think he gets it. I think this is his year. Kawhi took a step back, I feel like, defensively. Took a bunch of steps up offensively. But Draymond Green just can play every position for you, and he's going to join a selective group to average 2 steals and I believe 1.4 blocks per game, which is just insane numbers. He can guard 1 through 5, lock down everybody. I think this is his year. He finally gets Defensive Player of the Year. But I think the Stifle Tower, Rudy Gobert, putting up real tough. It's gonna be a close race. I feel like it goes to Draymond in the end.
For sure.
So we also have Rookie of the Year, and this has been a weird race. What do you guys think?
I mean, obviously everybody's a big fan of Joel Embiid. They feel like he deserves it. But I'm gonna go with my guy out of Virginia, Malcolm Brogdon. Those 4 years at Virginia, man, it really helped him, developed him, gave him a little bit of maturity, and he's, showing it on the basketball court for the Bucks, man. He's doing a really good job.
I got to go with the guy you mentioned earlier, Joel Embiid. I know he only played in 31 games, but he was a monster in those 31 games. And it looked like for a while the Sixers could trust the process.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like if Embiid played even half of the games of the season, he probably would have won Rookie of the Year. But, the saying goes, the best ability is availability, and you can't win an award for Rookie of the Year if you can't even be on the court for half the year.
Yeah.
31 games, that's not a lot of games. Yeah. Obviously, it's a lot more than the 0 he put up his first 2 years. That's why he's still considered a rookie, but I got to agree with you, Jiggy. I got to go Malcolm Brogdon here. Embiid's teammate, Dario Saric, I feel like is the second in this, but Brogdon did more on a better team, a playoff team, and was a key contributor. So I think he gets it in the end. Like I said, Embiid, you got to trust the process, but he didn't have enough games. In those games he did play, easy Rookie of the Year, but you gotta be able to play. You gotta be in those games. Yeah. So for Brogdon and Saric, Saric played 81. Yeah. Brogdon played a lot too. It comes down to those two. I think Brogdon gets it in the end, but I think it's gonna be really close.
For sure.
So we're gonna go back to Lenny. He's gonna break down some Suco softball for us. So what you got, Len?
All right, so softball had a big weekend this past weekend, having 4 games in the SUNYAC. They originally got off to a hot start, sweeping 2 games against Fredonia up in Buffalo by a score of 5-1 in extra innings and a score of 8-6. Then headed over to Buffalo State, a short ride over, and lost 2 games to their SUNYAC rivals by a score of 5-1 and 6-2. The Buffalo State pitchers really kept the lineup in check, but they did not do a good job keeping Katie O'Gorman in check, who stayed hot throughout this week, going an impressive 6 for 17 with adding a home run, 5 RBIs, and 2 runs. Softball now boosted their lead, their standings up to 16-6 on the year, and are heading over to Oswego this week for a big matchup against their SUNYAC rivals. So we're going to head it over to commercial now, and Nick will be back to join you with the guys.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Okay, and we are back. So, like Lenny said, we're going to break down some MVP talk, 6th Man of the Year, and also Coach of the Year. So let's get right into it, guys. What do you got for MVP? This has been a crazy year. We mentioned it before, the tight race. What do you got?
Why not, man? Gotta go with my guy Westbrook, man. I mean, the numbers speak for itself. I mean, the argument a lot of people are giving up right now is, you know, MVP is not also only about the individual stats, but can he lead his team to victory? And with the season that Westbrook has had, you know, obviously with the loss of Kevin Durant, obviously losing Serge Ibaka, those 2 main guys, he was still able to put a whole organization on his back, average a triple-double, and basically prove everybody wrong. He did what he was supposed to do. He lived up to his expectation as an individual, as a team player. I mean, come on, the guy. I mean, how can you not be a team player and you're averaging 10 assists, 10 rebounds, you know? Those are the 2 main things that guys need to average. And for one player to average 3, you know, the 3 main stats in basketball in double figures, it's amazing. He deserves it.
I gotta agree with Jiggy. I gotta go with my boy Westbrook. Now, the definition of MVP is the player that's most valuable to their team. Now, if you look at all the candidates, take Harden off of Houston, they're probably the 8 seed. You take LeBron off the Cavs, they're definitely fighting for a high spot in the East. Take Durant off the Warriors, you get the Warriors from last year. And then take Westbrook off the Thunder. I think this team's picking top 5 in the drafts, in my opinion. They do have some top talent, but they're very young. And I feel like Westbrook is the type of veteran presence that they need and puts up enough stats to push them into the playoffs every single year and give them a shot towards the NBA title.
Right.
This has been, I would say this is the most wide open race because it's not just Harden, it's not just Harden, Westbrook. Yeah, you can throw Kawhi in there. People are saying he had the most complete season. I mean, we talked about him he was your defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
LeBron, you could throw him in every season. He's the best player in the league. To me, he didn't have the best season. So I don't really I think he's 4th in my opinion. People throwing out Steph Curry, Kevin Durant before he got hurt. But in the end, I do think it comes down to Westbrook and Harden. Kawhi's my dark horse. I wouldn't be surprised if he got it, but I think it does come down to Westbrook and Harden. And the whole season, I had Harden. Mm-hmm. We said it. You guys mentioned, yeah, Westbrook without Westbrook, the Thunder probably aren't a good team. But Harden, his turnaround this year has been phenomenal. That team went from really, really bad 8 seed. I don't even think they deserved that 8 seed. Yeah. They're knocking on the Spurs and Warriors door right now as a really dangerous, dangerous team. They might be the 3rd best team in basketball, not even just in the West.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But once Westbrook broke the record, averaged a triple-double, and then had those 3 comeback wins against the Mavs, the Nuggets, and I'm forgetting the Magic. Yeah. Those aren't top-level teams, but he scored 15 points. The last 15 points against Nuggets. He wills his team to victory. What he does night in, night out is ridiculous. I'm going to say Westbrook, but I'd love co-MVPs. I'd love Harden and Westbrook to both take this.
I mean, I think the thing that a lot of people are forgetting is James Harden did do what not every NBA player can do as well. He had 2,000 points and 2,000 assists in the same season.
Yeah.
That's difficult to do. I mean, it takes 4 years for a high school kid to get 1,000. So imagine in one season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
He deserves it as well. I mean, I believe in the co-MVP thing, but then once you get the when you start talking statistically, you know, triple double, man, I gotta go for it.
All right, so we'll move on to sixth man now. What do you guys have here? Who's your sixth man of the year?
I mean, sixth man, it comes with a lot of responsibility. But even though he got traded in the middle of the trade deadline, Lou Williams, man, he keeps his name relevant. He works hard for his awards, and he's the definition of what that sixth man looks like. Coming off the bench, giving you those double figures and scoring, and being a contributor off the bench, and that's a tough thing to do. So
I gotta go with his teammate Eric Gordon. I feel like he turned it around. He signed with Houston in the offseason. Wasn't playing so hot in New Orleans. I feel like he had a comeback season, and I think he had a great season and deserves it.
for sure.
I think this race comes down to Eric Gordon, like you said, and the perennial six-man candidate, I feel like, since he went to Golden State, Andre Iguodala. I think Eric Gordon gets it because he's shooting lights out from deep on a ton of attempts. Basically, I feel like every shot is
shot he
a
takes is
three,
three.
Yeah.
and he's drilling them.
Yeah.
He's the reason why, one of the main reasons why the Rockets are where they are, because he's one of the key guys that when Harden draws people into the paint, he's the guy who's standing at the perimeter knocking down shots.
For sure.
Night in, night out. I mean, he's shooting over 40% from three.
Yeah.
Crazy. So I'm going with Eric Gordon. I agree with you, Chris. I think Lou Williams had it before he got traded, but I'm going to go Eric Gordon. So we're going to move on to Coach of the Year now. And this is wide open race as well. What do you guys have here?
I'm staying in Houston, man. I gotta go with my man Mike D'Antoni, man. He made the Houston Rockets a dominant force in the NBA again. When you think about the Houston Rockets, the first person you think of automatically, Hakeem Olajuwon, the Yao Mangs, even Steve Francis from time to time, Tracy McGrady. We can go on for days. Robert Horry. We could go on for days on the greatest Rocket players, but it all comes from those teams, those players had tremendous coaches. And D'Antoni this season, even though he had rough patches in New York, LA, he made himself relevant again, and he showed that he's the guy for the job in Houston. Not everybody can, work with the team that he was dealt with, and he made the right decision. Instead of keeping James Harden at the 2, I'm gonna put him to the 1, make him my primary ball handler, and now look. You know what I'm saying? So Mike D'Antoni definitely deserves it, man.
What do you got, Chris?
I agree with Jiggy. Mike D'Antoni, rough pass in LA and New York. Came to Houston. Some people were like, Mike D'Antoni's back in the league? He did terrible in LA. And he came back and he brought Houston to what the team is today. Jiggy brought up some great points. I'm going Mike D'Antoni.
This one feels weird to me because there's so many guys who could take it. I mean, Brad Stevens, Mike D'Antoni, like you said, Quinn Snyder. I'm going to go with Greg Popovich, though.
Great.
You think about
Pop
they
right
lose
there.
Tim Duncan, Tony Parker taking a step back because of his age, Ginobili taking a step back of his age. 60 wins. I mean, best coach in the league. He's my coach of the year. So we're going to head to commercial, and Lenny's going to be back afterwards to talk some lacrosse, men's and women's, so stick with us.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Sideliners. I'm Leonard Ortiz, and we're going to talk some men's and women's lacrosse team for the Red Dragons here. Red Dragons men's lacrosse team continues to lose heartbreaking games. Dropped another game to Potsdam by a score of 11-10, and then another heartbreaker 7-6 to Plattsburgh. These guys keep competing, they keep staying in games, but they just can't seem the way to get it done. Ryan Curley helped out his cause for Most Improved Player of the Year in lacrosse with three goals in the first game and 2 goals in the second, leading the Red Dragons in both games. and they head to Oswego this Saturday for a big matchup against the Lakers. Now, our women's lacrosse team also just coming off a loss, 7-9 to Oswego. The tough game also came down to the wire, but the Lakers just had that extra oomph in them to push them over the Red Dragons. Recently just had a home win against Farmingdale by a score of 13-12, another one that came down to the wire. And Kelsey Cohen led the way with 7 goals in the past 2 games, and Taylor Casey with 5. Now, the freshman has really taken over this year and is leading the team now in goals, with Taylor Casey, the junior, coming in second. So that's all we have for the wrap-up for Suco Sports. I'm Lenny Ortiz, and we're going to go back to Nick and Tyler to talk some golf.
Thank you, Lenny. So we have our resident golf analyst with us, Tyler Kimball. And, I mean, Masters, first major of the year. It's a pretty crazy one.
Biggest week in sports.
Exactly. I
Biggest week in sports.
won't go that far.
Hey.
What you got, though?
Hey, best player to never win a major. Took him 43 times. This was the 47th major start. He finally knocked one out. It's funny. He was 0 for 73. And on the 73rd hole, he beat Justin Rose to take the green jacket, take his first green jacket, his first major. It's funny because he proved, good old Sergio. Sergio proved that the Masters doesn't start until the last 9 holes on Sunday, which is,
Yep.
I mean, if you look at it, it's true. Sergio started. We know Sergio, right?
Oh, yeah, of
we know
course.
Sergio. Classic choke artist.
Yep.
Sorry, Sergio, but it's true. He took a penalty after hitting one into the trees on 13, but he still escaped with a par. Justin Rose had a birdie, safe there. But for Sergio, again, he missed a 6-foot birdie on 16. He missed a 5-foot birdie putt on 18 to clinch, force the playoff. But then he took advantage of Rose's tee shot in the playoff that went in the woods. Sergio then birdied the playoff hole, took home a sweet $1.98 million and his first green jacket. Huge for Sergio.
First major win, not even his first green jacket.
Huge.
He said it himself. Afterwards, it was final. The best part was being able to say Masters champion, Sergio Garcia. Like you said, he's been there so long.
Yep.
He's been in the sport so long. Hasn't always been, I feel like it was a good reception. The fans wanted him to win, but it hasn't always been that way. He's kind of been golf's bad guy for some time, because when you're taking on Tiger Woods, who was the guy in golf for so long, you're taking him on, you're gonna have some enemies. You're not gonna have a lot of fans liking you, but he had his tempers had kind of cooled over the last few years. The fans warmed up to him, and it was nice to see him get that first major win after going so long. What a way to do it, too.
Right.
Really good Masters. It was weird not seeing, Spieth was, I believe he finished 4th.
He finished tied for 11th.
Oh, tied for 11th.
Yeah.
He was up there for a little bit. It was weird not having like Rory McIlroy up there, Ricky Fowler up there. But good on Sergio Garcia, really good Masters.
Yeah, that's. I want to mention Spieth. You brought him up, so we'll go that avenue now. It's funny. I did my research. I found out if you hit a quadruple bogey in the Masters, turns out you won't win. You would look at Spieth this year. He had a quadruple bogey on 15, and much like he had a quadruple bogey last year on 12, we all remember when we put it in the water twice on 12. Back-to-back years, quadruple bogey, no green jacket.
Yep.
It's funny. He actually, the Demons still there on 12 for Spieth. He put one in the water again on Sunday. He parred 12 all week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, parred 12. And then Sunday he put one in the water again. He did only escape with a double bogey there, but still, it's there. But the lesson of the year, again and again and again, is if you hit a quadruple bogey at the Masters, you're not going to win. It's that simple. We also found out that if you hit the flagstick at the Masters, check tape, Tiger Woods in 2013.
Oh, yeah.
Also hit the flagstick, also didn't win. Sorry, Rory, that just happens. Rory, on a note, still searching for a Masters win. I'm not rapping, sorry. Still searching for the Masters win for his first career Grand Slam. Let's take a look at some notables. All right.
Yeah, let's
some
do it.
notables. Matt Kuchar, tied for 4th.
The Cooch.
Hole in one on par 316. Stud. He's stud. Kevin Chappell, he led most of the week, tied for 7th with Rory. Fowler, Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, both favorites coming into end of Saturday, early Sunday.
Yep.
Tied for 11th, rough. Jason Day, Phil Mickelson, tied for 22nd. Danny Willett, the defending fluke champion from last year, missed the cut.
Yep.
Come on. And then you want to look at the big picture, what everybody was talking about. World number 1, Dustin Johnson.
Stepped off the first hole.
Withdrawals on the first hole. He fell downstairs at his house. What are you doing? What are you doing? This is the Masters, the biggest week in golf. Come
You
on.
have people walk for you. In your
Come
house.
on. Unbelievable.
Now, I'm going to cut you off for a second. I heard through the grapevine that you gave Justin Rose a high five at the U.S. Open. Am my sources correct?
Your sources are 100% correct. This is a huge calendar year for Justin Rose. I went to Oakmont. I went to the U.S. Open in Oakmont, Pennsylvania. I gave Justin Rose a high five going to the 18th tee. Then, check tape. Gold medal in Rio. Gold medal in Rio. Gold medal in Rio. Runner-up in the Masters. I don't know.
Is it a
right here?
coincidence?
I haven't watched the hand. It's right here. Right here are we? Right there. Justin Rose. Right here. I got you. I got you. He's still got 2 more months. We'll see what he can do from here.
Maybe you gave him like a high 10. He would have won.
Be writing record books if I gave him that.
And fist bump.
Yep. I can't even imagine.
Maybe like the turtle.
Yeah.
Give him a turtle.
Yep. Went for a fist pound and do snail. You never know.
Giraffe.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to touch on with golf? Or just in life?
No, I'm good on life. Golf is life at this point.
That's why he's our golf analyst.
Hey, if you want to think about this is the first Masters without Arnold Palmer. And what happened on 13 in the final round? Spieth hit one in the trees. He asked his caddy, Mike Greller. He's like, "Hey, what would Arnie do?" What did he do? Put it on the green. Ended up parring that. Classic Arnold Palmer.
Yep.
Before I go, I want to thank you all for having me. I want to shout out to B Green and Austin Teitelbaum, snapping necks and cashing checks in the control room, and all my boys in there, John, Ferris, Chris. We got Justin out here. It's been a heck of a ride, boys. Chris Thomas, Jiggy, my main man Nick.
Of course.
It's been
Justin Rose.
Heck of a ride, boys. Heck of a ride.
So, as we like to do here on Sideliners, crumble up the paper, give it a nice little chuck at the camera, and there we go. We'll see you next time on the season finale of Sideliners on YTV. Now, you got a handshake from Nick Wetzel and a high five from Justin.
Welcome. Welcome you. Hey.
Good job, bud. Good job. What happened to floor manager? We went way over.
Yo, he was
Let's go.